Cocoa has been an orphan crop in Uganda for so long. In cocoa, during the post-harvest handling, fermenting is one of the key steps that help to impart into the cocoa beans the chocolate aroma. However, the methods that farmers were using to ferment this cocoa were not good.
They are using rudimentary technologies to ferment cocoa, which comes out when the quality is not as required, especially if it is supposed to be used to make chocolate.
When we did some prior studies to see how the cocoa is fermented, we identified that there were mainly two methods. One was use of stacked boxes. These stacked boxes require large quantities of cocoa, and besides that, a lot of energy is needed because one has to carry cocoa and take stairs to load it into the first box. The other method that they were using were the heaps or sacks. And these methods, they would leave the cocoa in the garden, rain would disturb it, and even theft.
Abalala bakozesanga amaato bagabajjanga mu miti ne bafamentingiramu. Ate abalala bakozesa enkola ey'okubanga koko bamwalira wansi nga tebasimyewo kinnya ne balirawo endagala ne bamuyiwako ne babika endagala.
Farmers were having a serious challenge of fermenting the cocoa. We thought that maybe it is very, very important that we improve on the fermentation technology and come up with something that can easily be used by both female and males, and also can take a very short time.
We came up with an idea of scaling down the stacked boxes and mimic the processes that they carry on when doing fermentation in the stacked boxes. We came up with what we called a single box at that time.
We came up with an idea of the fermentation box to help farmers ferment their cocoa very fast, but also get the best quality out of it. Because when you look at the technologies which are used, those technologies don't produce the good quality cocoa, and then they also take a long time, and they're also laborious. They require a lot of labor.
Box eno temenya omuntu n'owabeera nga talina maanyi asobola ogikoze si yakusitula kuteeka waggulu nga ziri box eza steps ze bakola. Kati eno box neba nti yanjawulo eri wansi ne wabeera mwana muto kasaafunako kasaba nga agituukako asobola ogiyiwa mu kooko n'amala n'agibikkako era n'okugivuga n'okumukyusa era si kizibu.
The single box now, you don't have different levels. You have one box and then you do the turning in there, and the fermentation process takes even a shorter time.
Ekisookera ddala kooko ono mu box tamala nnaku nnyingi, ennaku ziba 4 ku 5 aba asobola okwanikibwa. Ate n'aba ng'akola omutindo ne guba nga guvaayo bulungi nnyo nga bwe gwetaagisa nga gufaanagana n'ogwabo abafermentingidde ennaku 8.
It requires less energy to operate. Even the elderly, the children can operate it.
We have improved it further by including a crank that can actually be used to turn the cocoa very well. The turning is a must because the fermentation process requires the adequate distribution of temperature within the fermentation box. So when you turn, you distribute the temperature very well, and also the microorganisms which are involved. This box now does everything in there, and you are able to get fermentation completed within 4 to 5 days, and you get the best quality beans, including beans that are not molded. Because one of the challenges in using the rudimentary technologies, cocoa actually molds a lot.
We did some economic analysis to see what is required to establish the stacked boxes and the single fermentation device. We realized one needs a lot of inputs and resources to set up the stacked boxes. But with our single fermenting device, you don't need a lot of input. You just need a corner within the store or the house, so long as you give a provision where the juices or the mucilage that drops out of the cocoa can be contained.
You do everything in one place. Farmer will get this single fermentation box, put it in a room, harvest cocoa. After removing it from the pods, the cocoa will be put in the box, and then the turning starts. And it's very easy to turn because we have improved the box further. It can take up to 150 kilograms. Turn day one, go and relax, come back. Day two, do the same. The cocoa is able to ferment within 4 to 5 days, which is a very big advantage.
We have got testimonies from some of our farmers, like the Nakoga. They have given us testimonies that where they sell their cocoa, the batches they get from the single fermenting device is much desirable by their buyers.
Banyumira okufuna box eno okugamba abantu obwetaavu obuli okukola omutindo nti era n'eri gye tutundako okufe ng'abalimi buli kaseera batuusa kwebaza kwabwe bantikko okwebaza kwabwe olw'okukola omutindo.
The contribution is in terms of income to the farmers and also to the country. Once the beans quality and safety is improved, it means they are going to fetch a lot of money. And once the box is upscaled, everybody actually can adopt it. Many farmers are going to ferment cocoa very easily and very fast. I'm sure many will be attracted to continue growing and producing cocoa.
When we came up with this device, we obtained intellectual property and we filed. Currently, we have been awarded the utility model and we are making further improvements to file again for the patent for the intellectual property. Farmer who wants it for now can contact NACORI, National Coffee Research Institute, or Makerere, and we can deliver their order to the competitor that we have contracted to be producing these boxes.
The cost implications, right now, we have engaged the master student to study the cost implications. She's right now gathering data for all the methods that are being used to ferment cocoa. And then she's going to compare the costs involved with our own box. The other advantage with the box is that we have got a PhD student who is trying to isolate the microorganisms which are involved in the fermentation time. What we want to do with the student to actually concentrate, clean those microorganisms, and we have what we call a starter culture, even improve the fermentation process further so that it can actually be applied by anybody who is doing fermentation.
Twala omukisa guno okwebaza ab'e Nakoli ne Makerere kubanga ffe be batusakira era be batuusizza wano bale baasala okukolagana naffe tubafunyemu kinene kuba batuwa amagezi ate naffe tubeebuuzaako.
I want to thank the people who have funded this innovation. One is the National Agricultural Research Organization through the Competitive Grant Scheme, shortened as CGS. They have funded, and these funds come from the government of Uganda. Additionally is the Uganda National Council of Science and Technology. It has lobbied the funds from the different partners all over the world, and they have supported this research. Also the different researcher at National Coffee Research Institute and Makerere University, School of Food Technology, Nutrition and Bioengineering through Professor Kaya. They have contributed a lot.
The future of the box is quite bright. Many farmers, as I said, they are now yearning to acquire the box and then start using it. If this box can be upscaled and started being utilized by farmers, definitely the cocoa industry is going to improve greatly in this country.